Hi there, thanks for joining us. I'm Adrienne McLean from the Speakers Practice. It's great to have you join us for our podcast, Think Bigger, Grow and Succeed. We are interviewing professionals on the topic of seeing the bigger picture and discuss how individuals at work or in business can do this so they grow and ultimately succeed at their goals. This interview is designed to be motivational and uplifting. We're discussing skills and approaches to get you to the next level. This is Series 3 of Think Bigger, Grow and Succeed, and it's sponsored by the Speakers Practice and is a program to support business owners, executives and professional individuals wanting to develop their career or business. Today, I'm thrilled we have joining us Eric Tjoeng from BGSE. It's great to have you with us, Eric.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Adrienne. Much appreciated.
Eric's been recognised as one of the top 10 Australian business strategists and experts to watch in 2021 by the Australian Business Journal. So that's quite an achievement in itself. As an MBA qualified leading business strategist, business growth, future-proofing and exit specialist, Eric's passion is to help businesses achieve their goals by being part of the team and bringing in independent views and expertise to complement the small business and medium-sized businesses team to produce exceptional outcomes. Eric is a fellow of the Institute of Managers and Leaders. Eric started his career with Deloitte Haskins and Sells Australia and has had a long and successful career in leading Australian companies in various senior roles with Avis, Jaguar, Rover, Audi, Daimler, Chrysler and Hyundai, including being a general manager of a $1.4 billion company. Subsequently, Eric has moved into SME management consultancy, where he has achieved great business successes for his clients using his holistic, multidisciplinarian approach, including being named in the BRW Fast Starters list and Business Award winners. Well, wow, Eric, you've got so much expertise there. We're looking forward to hearing about your advice and thoughts about thinking bigger about who you are and what you offer the world, because really getting out of our comfort zones and seeing a bigger picture of what is totally possible is sometimes something that we find a bit difficult.
Yes, 100%. I'm in total agreement. Happy to share some of my thought and my experience. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. So our first question for today is, what are the pros and cons of staying in your comfort zone?
Yeah, I think that is a good starting question, isn't it? I think most of us will agree, Adrienne, when you're talking about staying in your comfort zone, just like the feeling of, sitting in your nice, comfortable lounge room at home, everything's so familiar and you feel so nice and secure. I think that most probably one of the positive things why people would like to stay in their comfort zone. And another reason is, I think, as a human being, psychologically staying in our comfort zone, I guess, make us feel relaxed and not being anxious, because we can relate to and we can leverage on our past experience where we would understand the possible outcome and maybe also anticipate some of the possible challenges. And we already, knew how to, I guess, tackle them. So most probably, those are two, the reason and pro about staying in the comfort zone.
Mm. But when you go into business, either for yourself or maybe you're in a higher level job in the corporate world, you're not normally just sort of so comfortable that it all goes smoothly, and things start to become difficult and challenges, and it all starts to get us out of that sort of comfortable state, and we're having to work out how to solve problems. What advice have you got there where people are starting to be stretched and learning ultimately?
Yes, you're 100% right. Look, the reality is that if we want to make a big progress, we cannot keep staying in our comfort zone. I think we got to recognize that. Therefore, as you know, some of us are aware the saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained. All it is if you do not, try something new, you will not succeed at anything new. So staying in your comfort zone is certainly limiting your potential. And I do not recommend that if we want to grow and flourish, that we stay in our comfort zone. We got no choice, but certainly venture outside. 100% right there.
Yes. Okay. Well, our next question is going along the same lines, but what do you think your recommendations for thinking bigger about who you are and what you offer the world, your aspirations? Because if we're going to really leave a legacy, we've got to sort of see a bigger picture or see more of what we're able to achieve.
Yes, certainly that is a challenge, Adrienne. So maybe what I want to share is, before talking about recommendation for thinking bigger about your goal and aspiration, I just want to share some comment on some I call common wisdoms. Okay, these common wisdoms sometimes actually trip us. Okay, the first one is that you must work hard to be successful. We heard it all the time, especially in older generation. That is really the keyword. I got to agree. Obviously, it is a very important ingredient, but I think in itself is not enough. I think what we should do is we should work smarter to achieve better outcome. So in other words, we should find a better and more effective ways to achieve success. So working harder is good, but really you need to find a way to work smarter. That's my comment about that wisdom. The second one, maybe I should reflect on another wisdom is, just do it. Sounds very like a key slogan, I guess. Well, I think it's right in a way. Like, you got to take action to achieve, certain outcome. But, your energy and effort will be more fruitful if you actually spend time do the thinking, then do the planning, and then actually doing the doing. Yeah. What do you think about those comments, Adrienne?
Well, yes. Sometimes we just get lost in it, and there's a whole lot of firstly, there's a whole lot of negative self-talk about, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, or that just seems too big a stretch for this company to go there. We as individuals can hold ourselves back, and that sort of thinking can hold back the business too. And as you say, just do it. It was one of the best taglines ever, I think.
100%. Yeah. So I'll share my recommendation about thinking bigger with your goals and aspiration. I think first and foremost, you've got to follow your heart and your passion. In terms of what your goals are, we're not worrying about possible limitation. A lot of us say, I want to do this. I want to do exactly what you said. But, I can't do this. I can't do that. I haven't got this. I haven't got that. Interesting thing, if you have a look, right, like Jon Utzon, we know who he is, obviously, Danish architect who designed the Opera House. Can you imagine if his thinking was, gee, I got to make sure I understand all the limitation, architecturally, what can be built and what can't be built. He would not have won the contest, and we would not have the opera house because of the sail design is so unique. It took several years, for the architects and the engineers and builders to come up with a solution, how to build the sails, right? So exactly like what I mean, if you start thinking about limitation at the beginning, you are virtually limiting yourself straight away. You got to imagine that by the grace of God, you can do anything, right? And then you'll find a way somehow. It's what is your heart says, what is your passion all about, okay? I can, maybe, give you some, example with that a bit later. And if you cannot visualize how it will look like, when you achieve your goals, you will not be motivated to action. You will not have the passion because you can't see it, right? And it's also difficult to you, and then everything seems to be so far away, but it's not possible, right? The same thing people say, they want to go to Mars, eventually they get there. They want to go to the moon, eventually they get there. They don't say, wow, it's impossible, right? So if you ever looked at, you need to be able to visual that. Give you an example, right? If you visualize that you want to run a successful professional practice, for example, what most probably will drive you and make you take action is that you can see the picture that you are becoming financially secure for you and your family. You say, wow, that is great, right? And then you can see people recognize you for your reputation and work. Say, well, this is nice. And you feel happy because you make a difference in their life, and you actually do something there that make a difference because of your service, In our case, obviously, they can sleep better at night because they can manage their cash flow, they have money in the bank, the business can, sustain and grow and have some business value for their retirement, for example, right?
Yes.
And then you have a good team, and that you're actually contributing by nurturing the next generation for your successor somehow. And then, like most of us, including you, Adrienne, we are giving back to the community and feel a sense of fulfillment. You get involved with Hornsby Chamber of Commerce. I get involved with the Parramatta Chamber of Commerce as treasurer and director for the past 8 years. So we get involved in certain things. We actually be able to give back. We feel, wow, okay, we can see it. Those are some of the goals. We want to do that because those are, I guess, I think what we call success and the benefit that motivate us to get there, isn't it?
Yes. And that's actually that's a very good point around having like success markers to see that you've achieved that along your journey, so to speak.
Yes, and then obviously, as I mentioned, once you can visualize your goals and say, yes, that's what I want. I can see it. I can feel it. I really want it. I want it, right?
Yes.
You'll find a way by actually doing it strategically, not just do it, right? Actually, you got to spend some time doing the thinking. And then, spend some time doing the planning. And with that in place, you can focus on the area that you need to get on with it to be successful, I guess. So those are my recommendation how to go about it.
I think you raise some very good points there. Often you hear people say that you've got to visualize it, but that's about what they say. But what you're saying is that you've got to visualize it and use it as a starting point for where you want to go, and put those negative thoughts aside, and then just keep to the vision. And that's a really important point for people, because it sort of I suppose it gives them an end goal, so to speak.
That's right. You are so right. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so now what happens when when they've visualized this and they've put aside their thoughts of anything holding them back, then what happens when they go out of their comfort zone and test these new approaches? Does it always work?
No, I guess, the success is obviously in the implementation. I think one of the major challenges in terms of, making a big jump, normally we feel, very anxious indeed. So you need to find a way to manage your anxiety. You got to find a way. Different people got different approach. Some of them, having me time. Some of them obviously, doing meditation. Some of them read book or whatever it is that, basically, can reduce your anxiety. Obviously, in this instance, is having some, coach in the area maybe is good because it also involves some, the mindset and psychological challenges that, some of the coaches specialized in the area can help you. And however, I think once we recognize that it's necessary to take risks to move forward, right? That is very important. That the recognition that if we want to move forward, there is no other alternative, right? You got to take risks, and you definitely will experience some setback. If you ever look at, Michael Jordan or all these great people, they always have a lot of setback before they become successful, right? And you got to understand, no pain, no gain. Along the way, there will be some value. There should be, the lesson learned, and when you're ready to do it, that's where, resilience is important. And it's time to do it. And, you, I guess, surround yourself with some good people, somebody can help you in different areas and get started, basically.
Yes. When we, as service professionals, start to think we want to start our own business, the challenges and things that happen along the way, you don't realize when it sounds a good idea at the time, but the risks that you have to take and the setbacks that you have really do set your resilience. That's so true.
Yes, that's why I think that, because, I'm a strategist. So the way I see it is that, look, why I see to the thinking, right? You're talking about business now, to start a business. You really need to start to think and plan what sort of business you are going to be involved, and you got to be holistic about it. How are you going to compete in the current market, right? And how are you going to make it work? So your business plan got to be holistic, obviously have the normal big picture, vision, mission, and culture. And then you will have a look at the customer that you are focusing on and why your product and services will be suitable. And then, as I said, have a look at the marketing and sales. How can you, communicate to them, convert them into client, and how are you going to create the operation that fulfill that and the people that make it work for you? And then, at the end, the customer service, because, business is all about customer, as all of us know, it's about people. Now, when you jump into business, normally you're good at one or two things, right? Unless you have proper strategic business plan, you're all over the place. You're burning your money and you get stuck, in terms of cash flow and profitability. You say, well, it's not working, right? So, which is very different in large organization. My background is blue chips company, right? You've got all the resources. Obviously, you have corporate strategy, you have departmental strategy. You basically, make everything work, doing a lot of thinking together, doing a lot of planning together. Then each department actually executing, the action plan. And then basically, go in there, just try to put out fires, earn some living, pay people, pay bills. Very different approach. That's why, we think that, for them to try something a bit more strategic and better is the way to go.
How do you put together a strategy?
So normally what we do is obviously, we have a look at a business owner profile. If they are risk averse, obviously, really they need to have a look at businesses that, has lesser risks. And obviously, if they are more entrepreneurial and, have higher risk profile, we can design the business accordingly. Because at the end, the way the business owner thinks is very important. Their risk profile very important. If we create the wrong business for them, either they will be totally stressed out, or it's totally uninspiring for them because they say, well, I'm not really interested in this. There's no challenge in there. Okay? So I think when we talk about strategic approach, I think very importantly when we have a look at business owners, we got to say, okay, if you want to be realistic and get into business, first of all, you got to check your mindset, whether you have the mindset to be successful in running a business. Otherwise, Adrienne, you and me know, look, there are so many other ways, right? You can go about your life. Obviously, being an employee is one option. Being a contractor, even doing the way running your own business, another option. But actually trying to scale and grow your business is totally different kettle of fish. It's full of minefield that you got to navigate, and you certainly need help. So I think if you think you have the right mindset, you're quite optimistic. You can see, okay, even COVID-19, always silver lining. Okay, like day will always follow night. Okay, and it's not going to be darkness for the next 7 years. Okay, the next day basically hopefully sunshine, maybe raining, maybe cloudy, but around light. Okay, so if you have a look at that, they will certainly keep you going. And then you really need to, be persistent, have resilience, because under the current, much more uncertain environment with the war and then, inflation and supply chain issue, you name it, human resources issue, you need to have the resilience to work it through. Obviously, you need to get help when you need it, but you cannot say, well, it's all too hard, that's it, I'm going to pack my bag and go. Yeah. I'm saying, why do you want to go into business? Why don't you just work for people? Let the business owner worry about it, right? Because your mindset basically will not be able to cope. No. So I think that's the first thing. And then obviously, the basic strategic approach is do a lot of thinking, right? And in the big picture area, and then come up with the right business model that will work, and then also do some financial modeling so you can see what is the outcome if you take certain action of profit and cash flow, and then from that, I guess you got to focus on the key area. You should focus first, I call it low-hanging fruit approach, because SME got limited resources. They don't have time and money to do everything. So you got to have a look at the area that you should focus first, make it work to bring the best result. And I think that is the way to go. It's going to be ongoing journey.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, our last question is, what's the best approach to achieving a goal?
Yes, most probably I have shared some tips along the way.
Yes.
To maybe summarize that, again, number one, have the right mindset. Be optimistic and have some resilience to overcome setback. Number two, adopt, think, plan, and do approach, and be strategic and holistic about it. I guess number three, you got to start well. In other words, don't just do it. Okay. I think that is the biggest mistake. That's why statistically a lot of businesses, go out the back door. 80% of them go out the back door in the first 3 years. And very importantly, I think the fourth one is very important for sustainability and growth. You got to monitor your journey and take corrective action. Okay, I just share with you interesting story about Apollo 13. Okay, obviously successfully landed on the moon, so 100% success rate. But interestingly, during the journey, they're only around 3% correct at any time.
Oh.
How did they get there? Ground control.
Oh.
God gonna keep telling them, look, you got to do this, you got to do that, so you can get there, so you can land on the moon, right?
Yeah.
That's why, part of our approach, we work with business owners, actually going through their business performances, understand what it is, and take corrective action, make sure that they eventually get to where they want to be.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, that's food for thought for sure. And,
yes, we did.
Certainly some great advice there, Eric. Thank you so much.
Yes. So I would just want to say a few final words. I would say that, running a business without a clear roadmap, how to compete in the current environment and market, you are destined to stumble and fall. So I would like to share with you as a business strategist, my role is to work with SME business owners to create a clear strategic direction for the company growth, sustainability, and exit. And you got to do it holistically. By the way, my methodology, even though I designed it myself for SME when I did my doctorate, has been done by a large corporation for many years. Nothing new to them. Just the SME, because of their experience and knowledge and resources, don't do them. And if any one of the listener want to have a chat with me and discuss different approach to achieve better success, more than happy to. They can contact me at Eric TERICT at bges.co, or they can leave a message or call me direct on my mobile phone 0401 990 200. Happy to have a chat.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you, Eric, so much for your time and all the things that you've shared with us. It's wonderful.
Yes. Thank you, and looking forward for future discussion.